Hello, everyone, and welcome. We have coffee, water, muffins, and some fruit in the back. Please help yourself. We'll begin at 9 o'clock. All right, everyone, thank you for being here. Go ahead and have a seat. Hi. Hi, good to see you. Welcome. So let's go over our agenda before we start. So we'll do our greeting and we'll go over our norms like we always do. We're going to review the district benchmarking data and the 5th grade OST testing data. And we will introduce our area of focus for growth that we'll be focusing on this year. And it will be based on the data. After that, we will talk about the plan step by step and what the strategy is and how to implement it. We'll talk about accountability and the upcoming schedule of the continuation of this professional development. I also have a couple resources for you toward the end there. Let's kick off our day by touching base with our colleagues. At your table, please share 2 positives that you've experienced so far, 1 struggle that you've experienced so far this year, and 2 things that you're looking forward to this year. Go ahead. All right, thank you. Let's go over our norms here. The presenter will begin and end on time, and I will stay on topic as well. The audience will be attentive, respectful, and participatory. No sidebar conversations. Make sure your cell phones are silent and put away. And we'll start today by touching on the elementary reading data from last year's end-of-year benchmark assessment. And then we'll break down the data from the 2022 OST reading data. You know I love Christmas, I love Buddy the Elf. I just love data. Data's my favorite. Our reading assessment benchmark assesses students' word knowledge and skills, comprehension strategies and constructing meaning, analyzing literary text, understanding author's craft, and analyzing argument and evaluating texts. So here is the 1st grade through 5th grade benchmark data from the end of last school year. As you can see, we have quite a few students who did not meet the benchmark. We're going to focus right here on the 4th and 5th grade. I'll give you a couple minutes to talk with the people at your table about the data that you see. We can all agree that we would like to see an increase in our students who are meeting or surpassing the benchmark, by the end of this school year. Obviously, that is why we're here. So let's take a look at maybe some more informative data. Let's take a look at the Ohio State testing data in English and language arts, reading informational text, reading literary text, and writing for 5th grade. This is a lot of data, but here we go. 76% of our 5th graders scored proficient on the ELA portion of the Ohio State test. So take a look at that pie chart there. Let's take a look at how the entire state of Ohio did. Take a look at that. Woo! Way to go, everyone. Our kids, overall, we're doing really great things in our district. I believe that. But there's always room for improvement, right? For reading informational text, 64% of our fifth graders scored above proficient. 23 were at or near proficient, and 13% were below proficient. For reading literary text, 54% of our fifth graders scored above proficient. Way to go. 29% were at or near proficient. We did have 17% who were below proficient. And then our writing data, 45% scored above proficient and 31% scored at or near proficient. We did have almost a quarter of our fifth grade students scoring below proficient. Although, as you can see, there are many opportunities for growth when considering this data, what we will be focusing on today is our data for reading literary text. So in your handouts, you will see which specific questions on the Ohio State test addressed which reading literature standards. So let's first of all take a look at where we shine. On the fifth question, which was a 2-point question, we had 60% of kids that got both points, and then 22% got 1 point. Only 18% got no points for that question. But take a look over here. For our 1-point questions of strength, that's a lot of green. That is a lot of green. So we are doing some really great things, really great instruction. You guys are really great teachers. You're strong. You can always be stronger. The questions that have a blue star are standards that were addressed in another question as well. So you can see number 22 and number 23 were the same standard. They were both 1-point questions. Number 3, number 27, and number 5, those standards were also addressed in another question as well. Some of our strongest areas were quoting accurately from a text when explaining what the text says explicitly and when drawing inferences from the text. Even better than that was determining the meaning of words and phrases as they are used in a text, including figurative language such as metaphors and similes. But now let's talk about areas of need. Every district has them. We are no different. So for our 1-point questions, there were 2 questions in particular that were of concern. As you can see, a lot of red here. That was number 25 and number 26. And then of our 2-point questions, we did have a little bit more concern in these questions here, number 2, number 4, and number 28. Again, the blue stars mean that they had another question that addressed that standard as well. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to combine standard or question data from questions that address the same standard. So question number 3 and number 4 addressed explain how a series of chapters, scenes, or stanzas fits together to provide an overall structure of a particular story, drama, or poem. And as you can see here, we have 2 different sections of green. That's because this section represents if they got 2 out of 2 points, and this section represents if they got 1 out of 1 point. Either way, they were fully correct. And then here we have 1 out of 2 points for the yellow, and the red is anyone who got 0 points on either question. So we have a combined green area of 73%. That's not too bad, right, when we combine it? Here we have questions number 27 and 28, which talked about comparing and contrasting stories, and we have a combined green area of 66%. So when we combine that together, again, it doesn't look so alarming as when the questions were presented separately. So questions 5 and 25 determine a theme of a story, drama, or poem, include how characters respond to challenges, how the speaker in a poem reflects upon a topic, and summarize the text. This is where when we combine the 1-point question with the 2-point question, we see over half of the students did not get the questions correct. So, that being said, that was a lot of data, wasn't it? So now what? How can we improve our 5th grade Ohio State testing reading scores this year? Don't worry. I've got your back because we have a plan. Let's take it step by step. The first thing we're going to do today is determine an area of focus. I bet you can guess what that focus will be. We're going to learn and implement evidence-based teaching strategy, participate in peer observations and coaching. We're not actually going to be doing that part today, but we will be planning for it in the future. It'll be taking place in October. We will analyze future data for evidence and improvement. Again, that'll be us circling back once we have that information in. I have a whole schedule for that for you. And we will reflect and adjust our plan according to the data. This is a fluid plan. It's a living plan. It will be, edited as we go as needed to meet our needs and help us become stronger in this area. So our specific area of focus is going to be that standard about theme. So determine a theme of a story, drama, or poem from details in the text, including how characters in a story or drama respond to challenges or how the speaker in a poem reflects upon a topic, as well as summarize the text incorporating a theme determined from details in a text. So before we jump into these instructional strategies, let's do a quick sorting activity. The words appearing on the screen have been written on note cards. Everyone is going to get a note card, and there are posters around the room that we will use to sort ourselves based on what's on our card. If you think that what you have is a main idea, you're going to stand by the main idea poster, which is back there. If you think you have a topic, you'll stand by the topic poster over here. And if you think you have a theme, you'll stand by the theme poster right over here. I'll give you a couple of minutes. Ready? Go ahead. All right, everyone, take a look. Let's see how we did. What do you think? So far, so good? Anyone recognize the story? One of my favorites, The Giving Tree. Such a great story. Now, the topic that we have made is self-sacrifice, and the theme is when you give so much of yourself to others, you can end up losing yourself. Now, are there other topics, other themes we could address, like friendship, greed? Yes, of course. There's many different topics and themes. But for the purpose of our activity right now, that's what we're going with. Let's take a look at the next story. Main idea, topic, and theme. How did you guys do? That was The Grinch, another favorite. You know I love Christmas. I'm a Christmas girl. Pretty good. Okay, let's take a look at our last example. If you got the main idea card, it really gave the story away, didn't it? The Boy Who Cried Wolf. Yep. So, in preparation for this presentation, I discovered that educators often use the terms topic, theme, and even main idea interchangeably. Rachel Parlett, host of the Classroom Commute podcast, mentions this phenomenon in her episode about teaching theme. She even admitted to teaching her own students topics when she thought she was teaching them theme in her earlier years of teaching. This is actually a very common misconception. On her podcast, Parlett states, one mistake that students and even some teachers make is that what they consider to be themes are really topics. Topics like friendship, loyalty, and perseverance are often claimed as themes. However, they don't go deep enough. Does this sound familiar to anyone? Anyone ever have this confusion? If you're willing to share. I know I have. I have confused these different literary structures as well. So if you have, do not feel bad. That's why we're here. What is a topic? What is a theme? Well, a topic is specific to the story. It is oftentimes the subject being discussed, the person, event, or concept that the author is writing about, and it can be explained in 1 to 2 words. Now that part, at least for me, was probably the most helpful. Because there's a lot of misconceptions. Even if you go on right now and you Google literary themes and you use the word theme, a list of topics will be coming up in whether you're looking at anchor charts, whether you are looking for resources, blog posts, teacher blog posts. So it can be very, very, very misleading when you are seeking to understand yourself and make sure that you know what you're talking about. It can be even more confusing to go out there and try to find, a clear differentiation between topic and theme. A topic is also concrete, and this is one of the reasons that students tend to be able to come up with topics very quickly, very easily. They can look back in the text and, the author has stated it right there. This is the topic. Themes are a little trickier. So a theme is not specific to the story. So we're moving kind of beyond the text here. A theme is universal. So although it may be addressed in the story or by the story, it is something that pertains to real life. It's the message that the author wants you to hear. It may be, what the author believes about, whatever topic was identified. It can be considered the lesson to be learned or the moral of the story. A lot of students are familiar with moral of the story. And it needs to be expressed in a full, complete sentence. And it is much more abstract than topic, which is, again, why it can be so difficult for elementary students when they begin learning about theme. So hopefully by now, if you kind of had topic and theme kind of intertwined in your understanding, hopefully we're unraveling some of that. The instructional approach we will be learning about today is a synthesization of strategies used by Williams et al., Morgan et al., and Parlett. Instructional strategy to improve literary theme comprehension. Here we go. We want to clarify terms to increase student understanding of themes in literature. Use topic to lead students to the more abstract concept of constructing a theme. Well, that's a lot. Here are the steps for using that strategy and implementing that strategy. First of all, we need to involve students in defining what is a theme. Now, this is something that I saw across research that teachers were doing, because I think the academic language of like saying literary theme is kind of getting in the way, plus our, like I said, like our intertwined understanding of different terms. So just clarifying that academic language and vocabulary is going to be helpful moving into, informing that understanding of theme, what it is, what it isn't, before even going into identifying themes. And just like we did today with your students, you'll practice differentiating between theme, topic, and main idea explicitly. Because up to this point, the fifth graders should be pretty good at main idea. And even topic. Topic, again, is more concrete. It's a lot easier to identify. We're going to draw on those strengths and compare what, things they can easily identify to theme, so they can kind of get a better idea of what theme is and what theme is not. Then we're going to reference that definition that your students help create to generate theme sentences, and we'll build those using topics as a jumping off point. Research has shown that effective literary theme instruction should begin with the collective student development of a definition. So what is theme? Let's revisit the definition we discussed earlier as a starting point. Themes are messages and lessons about the human experience and offer suggestions about how to live. Themes often describe insights about how to act or be in the world. So from here, you will support your students in discussing their interpretations using age-appropriate language. So how are they interpreting this? Are they interpreting it correctly, or can we replace some of this more academic language with more kid-appropriate language? So guiding these students can help you kind of see if your students are headed in the right direction, or how, if you need to guide them, if they're kind of heading more toward main idea or topic. We definitely want to steer them back toward theme and clarify that for them. Adding the students' wording to the definition can help with their understanding. So what might this look like? Well, here's that definition. Let's say this is our anchor chart that we're going to work with in our classroom. We're going to have students think about it and share, their understanding or what they're confused about and suggestions to make it better. So here's our anchor chart here. And a student might suggest that the first sentence is just a little bit confusing. Maybe it's just a little bit too much information. And we could simplify it to say, themes are messages and lessons the author wants you to learn. So crossing out about the human experience and offer suggestions about how to be, and replace it with the author wants you to learn. Great suggestion. Much more kid-friendly. We could also cross out this describe insights. Students might not understand what that means, and we can guide them and support them, scaffold them into changing it into give advice. So describe insights becomes give advice. Themes often give advice about how to act or be in the world. That might be kind of confusing for fifth graders, how to be in the world. A little deep. So maybe we change act or be in the world to just behave. They understand behavior. That's something they can definitely draw from, their understanding of behavior. We teach about behavior, especially in the beginning of the year. Now, we're going to compare topic and theme. This may be extremely confusing for students who struggle with abstract concepts. So acknowledge that struggle. Acknowledge that this is tricky. It's okay if students are confused right now. It's possible that even though they have studied literary themes in previous years, it just hasn't quite stuck. Their previous instruction on theme may have even been inaccurate. As we saw today, there's some confusion when it comes to topic and theme. Sometimes people and even teachers think that they are one and the same, when in fact they are not. So now that we have defined theme, just as we did previously, we're going to discuss and compare topic and theme for further clarification, because comparing this abstract concept of theme to what it is not can help students carve away at their misconceptions that they may be holding and allow them to clarify their understanding of the concept. So again, topic, just like we said before, and you will have a copy of this slide for all of the wording used and everything. If it is going to help you in your classroom, feel free to use that. Topic is specific to the story. It's the subject, person, event, or concept that the author is writing about, explained in 1 to 2 words and is concrete. However, theme is not specific to the story. It is universal, can be applied in real life. It can be applied to other literature. It can be applied to movies. It can be applied to student writing. It's, again, the message the author wants you to hear, what the author believes about topic, the lesson to be learned, moral of the story. Again, you will reference your definition here as well that you made with those students and point out that it needs to be a full sentence. That's a big clue, especially for any visual learners. If they're looking at something, that's going to be a big clue that's going to help them determine whether it can even be considered a theme, like anything to be considered when you're looking for theme, if that makes sense. It's abstract. Again, it's tricky. So we're trying to make it a little bit more concrete. So now that you have your definition, we're going to actually use it. We're going to apply that definition when we are distinguishing between the oft-confused topic and theme. So using a familiar story, such as Charlotte's Web, which all the students, they read that in second grade with their second grade teachers, and most of the second grade teachers show the movie, actually both movies, the cartoon and the live action movie as well for comparison. So I'm going to throw out some literary elements from Charlotte's Web. And I want you to briefly discuss each one with your table, just as your students might do in class. Is it a topic or a theme? And why? Here we go. Friendship. What would you say, topic or theme? Yeah, and there's a big clue too, topic. So friendship is one of the topics covered in Charlotte's Web. And again, that big clue, that was not a full sentence. And we know theme statements need to be full sentences. They need to be universal. So although we are seeing friendship as a topic covered in Charlotte's Web, what does the author want you to learn or know about friendship? What does the author believe about friendship? Good friends are always there for each other. What do you think? Discuss that with your table. Yep, I'm hearing it. You're right. This is a theme. Now, it's a full sentence, but let's reference our definition again. Is this a message or a lesson that the author wants us to learn? Does it give us good advice about how to behave? Yep, being a good friend. That's exactly right. And also, this can be applied universally. It's not specific to the story of Charlotte's Web. Good friends are always there for each other. You could apply this theme to so many other stories. Harry Potter. You could apply it to the Magic Treehouse series. You could apply it to Junie B. Jones. There's all kinds of stories that this particular theme could be applied to. Movies as well. Death is a natural part of life. True. And that is a theme. The author is helping us understand that death is a natural part of life. That is one of the many themes in Charlotte's Web. So let's talk differentiation. When identifying what is and is not a theme, and when comparing theme to topic, it still can feel overwhelming, especially for those students who are having significant struggles accessing the concept. So try giving two choices. So we have family, and then we have family should always be there to help each other. Which one is the theme? And go back and reference, the definition that you came up with your class. Themes are messages and lessons the author wants you to learn. Is just the word family a lesson? Let's take a look. Is there a lesson about family that we can see on the other side? Family should always be there to help each other. Is that more of like a lesson or a moral? Yes, exactly. So providing the choice aspect and then scaffolding and verbalizing your thinking and helping guide students toward the theme is a great way to kind of differentiate that activity for the students who are struggling more with the concept. You guys are awesome. You've been amazing this morning. I think it is time for us to go ahead and take a break. Go ahead and take, let's say 5 minutes, and then we'll come on back and we will continue. So far this morning, we practiced strategies for helping students define theme, differentiate between theme and topic, and use familiar stories and questioning strategies to practice these concepts. However, you all have many wonderful strategies that you're using in your classrooms every day. So how can you share that knowledge and those amazing strategies with one another? In our district, opportunity for collaboration for subject area teachers has been severely lacking, particularly for those teachers like you who are the only one for their grade level and that subject on campus. One of our district goals this year is to facilitate more collaboration opportunities between the content area teachers, the content teachers, subject teachers across the different campuses. We want to provide opportunities for you to utilize each other as resources. We have the power to inspire, encourage, and support one another right here in our own district. One way to do this is by peer observations and peer modeling and coaching sessions. So we're going to start by reviewing the reading literature Ohio State testing data breakdown by elementary campus. So the data we looked at earlier was all 3 elementary campuses combined in that area. So we're going to break it down. And then we're going to just real quick touch on, I know you know this already, but we're going to touch just real quick review the peer observation cycle and what that looks like. And then I'll explain kind of the logistics of putting this into practice this year. Let's take a look at the data breakdown by campus. Again, the yellow is, don't be afraid of the yellow. It is at proficient or very near proficient. Now, we'd love to see some of that yellow move to green, of course, and then we'd love to see a little less of that red. So discuss with your table, what do you notice? So we did have one campus that was sticking out for their success. The data is a bit higher at the Tucson campus. Now, that does not mean our other campuses are doing anything wrong, but because you don't have teammates in your buildings that are teaching the same subjects as you that you can meet with, every week or whenever you need help or resources, it's important to facilitate that collaboration, and that's my job. So here's the peer observation cycle. Just take a quick look. You've kind of done things like this before. So just take a quick overview of that. Collaboration for the win. That's right. Again, we are all on the same team. We have a common goal. We are here for each other, We're here to support each other. We're here to encourage each other. This is not a competition of any kind. We are here to work together. That is the unicorn way. All right, everyone. That is a wrap on my presentation. And from here, I say go forth, teach, and may the data be ever in your favor. Interested in reading more about this are right here. Thank you all for being here and have a great rest of your day. Thank you.